I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're uncovering an extraordinary tale of survival, resilience, and global history with a wonderful author. His name is Isaac Shapiro, and he has penned a powerful book. It is called Edokko, Growing Up a Foreigner in Wartime Japan. This gripping memoir takes you through the harrowing journey of a Russian Jewish family navigating persecution, war, and displacement across continents. From surviving Tokyo bombings to surviving as a teenage interpreter during the U.S. occupation of Japan, Shapiro's story is a powerful testament to courage and adaptability. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Isaac, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Not at all.
Okay, so a publishing company got in touch with you. They knew of your story and suggested that you write it. Well, I think that was a good suggestion because it's a powerful book. Tell us a little bit about your life when you and your family were escaping persecution because of your Jewish faith.
Well, we were not really running away from anything. Japan went to war. Pearl Harbor was the event that took it to war. And we were foreigners without any citizenship of Russian origin. My parents had left Russia and eventually left China. When they first emigrated from Russia after the revolution, it was to Israel, where they met and married and had their first children, a set of twins. And then because of the hardships there, including civil war, and the fact that my mother's father was living in China, they moved to China, where they had their third child in 1928. And eventually they moved to Japan, where there was a better opportunity for musicians of Western origin. And they had their fourth child, myself, in Japan, and their fifth child, my younger brother, in Japan. And when Pearl Harbor occurred, they got stuck with the war in Japan, and it wasn't until after the war was over and Japan was occupied by American military forces that they had the opportunity to leave and move to the United States. But before they left, I was able to obtain a passage to the United States because I went to work for a Marine colonel who was a part of the occupation and who arranged for me to move to Hawaii, where he was stationed in 1946, not long after the war. And eventually I went from Hawaii and finishing high school there to Columbia University, which was really the significant move for me from Hawaii to New York. And thereafter, I became a New Yorker, even though my parents were still in Japan. Eventually, they moved to California, and the rest of my family with them. My brothers, two of them, three of them actually, and my parents died in California. They lived there the rest of their lives, and exercised their musical profession there. Whereas I stayed in New York, and eventually, during the Korean War, I served in the U.S. Army. And after my Army service, I returned to New York once again, finished college and law school there, and got my pursued my legal career in New York, where I retired eventually, and where I am retired at the age of 94.
Amazing. Well, you sound great for 94. You're as sharp as a tack, no doubt. And no doubt that is attributed in part to your good genes, and no doubt it's attributed to your fine education as well. Tell us what you remember about life in Japan during World War II. Do you remember much of that era?
Not a whole lot. I remember we suffered a lot of hardships at first because the war took a toll on the welfare of the population, and we started to get distribution of food and were restricted in our movements because we were foreign, couldn't travel without a permit. And slowly the student population dwindled. For my parents, who were musicians, started to lose their students who went off to war. And then, of course, the American air raids began in 1945, and we suffered a lot of bombings in Tokyo, where we lived. We eventually left Tokyo for safety from the bombings in a town called Karuizawa, a summer resort north of Tokyo. So the last few months of the war we spent in sheltered community where we were not experiencing the bombing that was going on in Tokyo. Of course, after the war was over, we moved back to our house in Tokyo, and I went to work for the Marines.
You were working as an interpreter, as a teenager.
Yes, I was.
For the Marines. Yeah. Tell us what that work was like. What was that experience like?
It was very exciting. I was only 14 years old when the war ended in September of 1945. I turned 15 in early 46. And so I was not really a grown-up. I hadn't finished school. I didn't finish high school until I moved to Hawaii. But it was very exciting and rewarding. I got along very well with the Marines, and they treated me very, very nicely.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you were about how old when you finally left Japan?
15.
15 years old. And
Yes.
you left Japan as a 15-year-old all by yourself?
Yes.
Amazing. And who cared for you when you were in Hawaii by yourself at 15 years of age? Did a family take you in? Did you have relatives? Tell us about that part of your life.
I moved in with a Marine colonel and his wife. They had no children of their own. And I lived as their adopted child and enrolled in high school in Hawaii.
Amazing, amazing. So you must have great memories of that family. They were very, very good to you to take you in, right?
Oh, yes. They were extraordinary.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. And then
unfortunately, their marriage ended in divorce, and not because of me. And I stayed with the colonel. His wife divorced him and moved to Florida. I didn't follow her.
Where did you go at that point? You went off to college, to Columbia?
Yes, I went to Columbia.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. Like I said, that good brain has served you well all these many years. You're a creative mind as well, because this book is wonderful. Folks, the name of the book, if you want to read more about Isaac Shapiro's amazing life and amazing story, it is called Edokko, Growing Up a Foreigner in Wartime Japan. It is a gripping memoir that takes you through the harrowing journey of a Russian Jewish family navigating persecution, war, and displacement across continents, from surviving Tokyo bombings to serving as a teenage interpreter during the U.S. occupation of Japan. Isaac's story is a powerful one, a testament to courage and adaptability. Isaac, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you.
I appreciate your time, sir. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.
Okay.